Okay, this is going to be video number 7, and it's going to be lesson number 3, G, D, and E, single grace notes. All the opinions on these videos are my own and not that of any other person, organization, band, or YouTube. I claim no experience or expertise. I can claim no expertise on any subject which might be contained in these videos other than of my own experience. The purpose of these videos is to share what I have learned to date about playing the Highland bagpipes and drums. These videos are not a replacement for a competent instructor, which I cannot stress enough is required to properly learn to play the Highland bagpipes or drums. The viewer accepts all responsibility for how they use the material presented. Go Arkansas State University. Okay, hopefully you've seen the other videos, and of course I'm going to assume you have an instructor and a tutor book. This lesson is going to go over the G, D, and E single grace notes. So find your tutor book, open it up to where the G's, the D's, and the E's are. The single grace note is used with the pipes to separate notes. If this were a recorder or a clarinet or something of that nature, we could play 2 low A's in a row by doing this. Interrupting the airflow with your tongue, which is called tonguing. However, since the ultimate aim is to be playing the pipes where the chanter is connected to the bag, the air can't be stopped and started. Therefore, that's an impossible thing for us to do. So the way we separate notes is to do a single grace note or some kind of combination of grace notes. The simplest first one you'll learn is the G grace note. So again, if I want to play 4 low A's in a row without tonguing, I would have to do something of this nature. 4 low A's in a row separated by a single G grace note. Okay, now how to play that? Now normally, if you wanted to play a G, the fingering would be to lift, 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 and have just the thumb on. So if we use that to do a G grace note, we would end up playing from the low A. It's a lot of fingers to be moving for something that's going to end up being very, very short. And you run the risk of doing something of that nature. So for grace notes, what we end up doing, instead of lifting all 3 of the fingers and doing the full normal fingering for that note, we lift just the one that actually does that note. So when we're playing a G, the highest hold that's uncovered is this very top one on the front. So that's the only one we have to lift. Okay? In practicing that, as I said in one of the other videos, in order to play fast, to play cleanly, practice slow. Okay? So, G grace note, top finger, top hand. Next we'll do the D. Now normally to play a D, you would put your pinky down on the low hand, and you would lift those 3. But using what we just did about not having to do the full fingering, because that would be a lot of fingers to move, again we do just the one finger that actually makes that note. Okay, top finger, bottom hand is your D. Top finger, bottom hand is your D. Top finger, top hand is your G. The E, if we're doing a D, E is the next one. So it would be this finger is the one you would lift for the E. Okay? Now I'm going to quickly remind you of something that I said in one of the very first videos, and that is about how to relax your hand. If you're gripping it like this, you're going to have a problem. And actually I'm noticing on the video right here a good illustration of something. In order to relax my hand, I don't relax it here, I relax it all down in here because the muscles and ligaments that move the fingers are actually attached way down here. So if you'll watch my forearm in this area as I lift the E, you see a good demonstration of that. So anytime you're practicing, practice slow, but relax your forearms all the way down in here. Keep them very, very relaxed. Okay, go back to the G grace note. D grace note, E grace note. Okay. Depending on what book you have, there should be exercises for this in your book. If there's not very many exercises in your book, be sure and get one of the exercise books from John Recknagel, Piper's Helper, or Rhythmic Fingerworks from Jim McGilvery, or your instructor will provide you some. In the meantime, if you need to, you can simply start on low G and do each one. And so on. Now you'll notice for the D grace note, let's start on this one. I can go, so I can play it on low A, or low G. I can play it on A. Okay. I can play it on C. I cannot play a D grace note on E because I now have a hole above that one uncovered. If I try to, you see it'll change, but it's not playing that note. Okay? So you can only go so far for that G grace note. Okay. If you get that down, where you can play the G, top finger, top hand, the D, top finger, bottom hand, and the E, bottom finger, top hand, try combining those. Okay? Okay? And the way I remember that when I was learning this, and that's why I've been mentioning it up to this point, is top, top, bottom, top, top, bottom. And you'll kind of notice a blip, 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 blip. Okay? Practice that slow. And one other thing about once you start combining those grace notes especially is every one of those grace notes has the same timing. One of them is not longer than the other. I'm not playing. It's very methodical. Bip, 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 bip. Okay? And do not play the single grace notes or the G to E combination any faster than that. Okay? Once you can do that on one note, go back to the G grace note and see if you can do it on a note change. By that I mean starting on a low G, G grace note, and when the G comes back down, you'll be on A. You can go from almost any note to any note with that single grace note, provided it's not above the grace note you're trying to play. Again, there should be exercises in your tutor book, in an exercise book, or ask your instructor to make sure and provide some for you.